everybody. Wade and Ryan here. NFL in London, week two. Week two was quite interesting in terms of some blowouts, some injuries, but in terms of the games, the Bears didn't fare very well. But we're going to go through all the games. Bills look good, but I mean, some of the other games were just trash for me.
It was an interesting week. I thought it was quite a fun week.
It was fun.
Some of the surprising games. Some game of the year that you thought was going to be one of the worst games ended up being the best. 2 weeks in a row. One of the worst games you thought ended up being one of the best games. So
we'll go through all the scorers, and let's start with a game that I thought Jacksonville would win this one, and they were damn close to it too. Joe Burrow is out for at least 3 months. Turf toe. We know how that's going to be. The Bengals stepped up in this one, scored 14 points in the third quarter. Trevor Lawrence, 24 for 42, 271 yards, 3 touchdowns. Etienne was 71 yards, but Jamar Chase, 165 yards in this one touchdown. Man, the Jaguars tried, but the Bengals really threw themselves into it for their home crowd.
Yeah, and they shouldn't even call it turf toe. They should call it like annihilated toe or something. Because it's one of the worst injuries. Whenever I had like a receiver or like a running back in fantasy, you might as well cut him because he's going to be useless the rest of the year. And he has the worst version of turf toe, terminal turf toe. He has basically. So he's and it's a real shit. It's just again. You watch these games, and Joe Burrow's just getting murdered back there. Like, they put the stats up against who he was and Andrew Luck. And he has, 30, 40 more sacks than Andrew Luck did when he retired. So it's like, I just don't understand what the Bengals are doing. This happens every other year. It feels like Joe Burrow goes down for some reason. And they've never... They don't want to pay anybody. They don't want to pay to protect your most important asset. That's why you look at the good teams, the ones that, the Eagles, the Bills, they put money in the offensive line to kind of protect. This is what you're seeing with C.J. Stroud. Like, C.J. Stroud was one of the best quarterbacks in the game. Now he's just a sieve back there. He's just getting murdered. Every third down, they're getting blitzed and killed. So to me, this is just the Bengals being the Bengals. They get a great quarterback and they let him get killed. Carson Palmer kind of had the same thing with them, and he got fed up with. He retired than rather play with them. So this is just nothing new. And to be fair, I'm just done with Trevor Lawrence and this guy being anyone who can kind of take you to the next level. This guy just can't win. He's just not a winner in this league, and it just shows. He doesn't have that killer instinct. He doesn't even. You got Brian Thomas Jr. It doesn't even look like he wants to play football out there. No. So there's just something rotten in Jacksonville, and I don't know what it is, but to me, giving this guy the money and expecting, the only thing you got is Travis Etienne is playing well. You got Travis Hunter, who you don't even know what to do with him. You're going to play him defense this week. You're going to play him offense this week. So it's like you're never going to be in any sort of rhythm with this guy. He's going to be kind of playing from behind all the time. It's a mess, and I'm just kind of done with them. I'd be shocked if they won 6 games, to be honest with you. I just think they're a bad team. No matter how many points they scored, their defense still, Browning threw 3 interceptions in like a half of football, and they still lost somehow, which is like almost impossible to do. They're just a team. They're just a bunch of losers is what they feel like when I watch them. And so, and I'm glad I'm not a Jags fan.
Yeah, rough game.
And then Bengals. What are you gonna do, man? It happened again. If you got Chase in fantasy, your fantasy season's screwed. I mean, they talk about should they trade for someone, but I mean, who are you gonna get that's better than Browning?
No money.
Put Jameis in there, maybe, but I mean, I'd rather have Browning. He knows the system.
Yeah, you might as well. I mean, he played well enough for having to jump in there. And to your point, the Jaguars just look feckless. They didn't even look like they're really trying, and you're just like, you have a chance to put this away, and he just, to your point, does not have that killer instinct, which was too bad to see. Yeah. Bengals are 2-0, Jaguars 1-1, but the 2-0 Bengals, man, I don't know how many more wins they're going to get because they do have some talent, but not enough they're going to be able to keep up with some of these other teams. The big
Plus,
game.
You got to remember, what that's going to do is it just crushes the spirit of the team, right? So this team that felt like I don't think they're going to bind together for Browning. I just don't feel it.
No, unless he's a rally monkey in the locker room, but it doesn't feel like it. Yeah. Let's go to the big game that we were talking about, Battle of the NFC East. Cowboys, Giants, shoot out. If you were to say Russell Wilson were to throw for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns, I'd say you're crazy. If you were to say he were to lose it on a game-losing interception, I'd say, I could see that happening. Malik Neighbors has 167 yards, 2 touchdowns. Javonte Williams, 97 yards. This was a back-and-forth slugfest. Brandon Aubrey with 2 60-plus kicks this year. There's only been 4 60-plus kicks in the whole time.
Dude's
very good.
It's like the new Tucker.
But it was a
Yeah,
Cowboys with that fourth quarter, 21 points and 20 points. It was quite insane in terms of that battling
it
between
was
those two.
it was an amazing game, and it was also the most classic Russell Wilson game, right? He's tricking you. He's
Yeah.
tricking us all. This is what Russ does. He has that game where you're like, hey, maybe Russ is cooking and he's back, and then the next week you're just chewing on soup, just dry
Mm-hmm.
soup, because that's all he can throw out there. I have no faith. I do not believe that this is a Russell let Russ cook situation. I just feel like he's playing a Cowboys defense that's just lost
Yeah.
without Micah Parsons. I think they took the soul out of that defense. It feels like we've seen Russ do this a million times, so I am absolutely not buying into it. I am more of a believer in Daniel Jones than I am in Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Or
I was
Jackson
shocked
Dart.
that they went with him. And this is what he does, right? Just when you think he's about to get benched and he should never play football again, Russ goes out and does this, has a game like
Yeah.
this. And then you give him a couple more games and then he wins a couple ugly wins. And you're like, oh, maybe we should stick with it's going to go downhill. It will never last. Good for Russ for having a great game. Really fun, entertaining game. But I feel nothing about either of these teams. I don't think either of them are playoff caliber. The Cowboys, to me, this is how they're going to have to win every single game if they
Yeah.
win games. It's going to have to be an absolute shootout. And even like, I don't even know, like Pickens was fine. Like they don't, the offense, even though they scored 40 points, Dak doesn't feel like he's taken over games and the defense is nowhere there. So, I mean, it was fun and I'm glad I watched it, but I have no interest in these teams. Either
Yeah, there's
of
no
them.
fear
I think
factor to
they're
Dallas. There's nothing that's really going to make
no.
them say, "Oh, we're scared of you guys." Like they're going to come back and get us. It just doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel that at all, and it's very sad for both those fans. But as you say, I think Jackson Dart will probably be in there by week 5. Just by the way Russ is playing. We could talk about the Lions-Bears game. Well, let's just mention it was 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. Ben Johnson gets booed. Caleb Williams still looks lost. The team didn't look like they were planning for anything. The Lions ran plays on them, 52-21. This was embarrassing, spelling bear, B-E-A-R. As a Bears fan, this was just tough to watch. Having them put up 14 points every quarter except for 10 points in the third, it was just like, oof, oof. Rome Odunze had 2 touchdowns for us, so 128 yards. That's the only thing. Gibbs, Montgomery, they were rushing. Jared Goff, 5 touchdowns, 334 yards. Blah.
Yeah.
The Lions aren't as dead as everyone thought they were.
No, and that's the thing. Like they were bad last, but I think again the emotion of them wanting to, especially, I guess if they didn't play so poorly week 1, this game would have probably been a lot closer. But I think because they played so poorly, and everyone said, "Oh, without Ben Johnson, they're nothing." They really wanted to make a statement. They did. They just moved it up and down on your defense. I was more shocked with your defense than your offense, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think like. I don't know what Caleb Williams is doing. He's getting benched and he's laughing it up on the sidelines like it's 31-14. He's just laughing it up. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Like you got to look at these guys across from you that want to murder you if you keep playing like this. Again, the defense didn't help the situation. I don't think anything that Caleb could have done. But the thing is, every game's the same. He starts off the first drive. He's great because it's, they've rehearsed this 50 times this week. So they got it down to a pass. Once he has to deviate, the game gets a bit more like jazz and it gets more like chess. Dude is lost out there. There's sailing balls. I don't know, man. Like I heard all the hype and all the stuff, but I'm failing to see it right now. And this is like, they're worse than they were last year, which I find genuinely shocking when you think a year later, with a better defense, a better play caller. Again, maybe remember when Dan Campbell first started, they started out like 1-6 and they were terrible. And everyone was like, but then by the end of the year, they rattled like 5 or 6 wins together and they looked really competent. So I think as a Bears fan, the only thing you can do is you just got to give it time and just hope he figures it out. But I mean, if Caleb keeps doing this, I don't see why you don't turn to Bayesian in the next couple.
Tisson Bayesian, I would take him.
I say you give Caleb till Thanksgiving. And if he's not, like, Ben Johnson didn't draft Caleb Williams. He doesn't have any loyalty to him. So if he thinks, and Bayesian looked great with him in the preseason, so maybe you see that move coming. I picked Caleb in my fantasy, so I'd like to see him stay on the field. If you're a Bears fan, it's tough days. Tough days.
It is. I mean, Coach Johnson had said at the start, it's going to take till September till we find our identity. And I think that you can see the intensity in his eyes. And obviously the disappointment factor is, I don't want to be the head coach who came to become a head coach and just sucked up with the team, because it doesn't look good for him either. I think, when you've retooled so many assets in this team, offensive line, some of the defense, obviously, losing some of the defensive course and some injuries, there were still stupid penalties. There were still offsides that were just dumb, false starts. There was just like so many things. You're just like, God damn it. So, let's hope they get it together. Let's hope. We got to play the Cowboys next. So I want to see something.
Well,
This is it.
at least she'll score 60 points probably
We should be
because
able to
they
score
can't stop
something.
anybody.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next game into Tennessee, where Cam Ward gets his second loss of the year. Rams defense looking solid in this one. Matt Stafford, 23 for 33, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pollard did some running. Devontae Adams gets his first touchdown as a Ram, 33-19. The Titans did try to rally, but it was 23 points by the Rams in the second half that really iced this one because they were losing 13 to 10 at the half, and it looked like the Rams, like, what are you doing? But they pour it on in the second half. Rams go to 2-0, Titans go to 0-2.
Yeah, it is. It's just a talent discrepancy, right? You got the Rams on one end. Like you got Puka Nacua looks great. I hate his number 12. I hate that he wears number 12. It's a stupid receiver number, and it shouldn't exist. I wish he had his old one back, but I guess he gave it to Adams, maybe. Yeah. But he looks great. Kyron Williams, even Blake Corum came in to get a touchdown. It's just this is just a Rams team that just has more weapons. Cam Ward again. He wasn't great. He's a rookie. I think it's just the expectations we have of rookies are just through the roof and just ludicrous, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think the fact that if he could just put up, 20 points, Calvin Ridley, weapons, or Calvin Ridley, Tony Pollard, like it's not really, I feel like, have another bad year, get yourself a stud receiver. Let's get Cam Ward, get some plays. But to me, this is more about the Rams saying, like, listen, we're gonna be the toughest team in this division. They kind of stepped themselves ahead of everyone else. I think now, injuries and stuff like that, they just look like they're the team that's probably going to run away with this division while the other Titan teams beat, because Stafford's, all the talk of his back injury, dude is playing some of his best football this year. He looks just crisp. He's like on target. He's just playing classic Matt Stafford football. And if he can keep upright, I don't see why this team with that defense and Jared Verse, why they can't easily win the division.
His back is sore from carrying this team, and the defense has really stepped up in this one. With the 49ers winning, of course, them being both being 2-0, it'll be interesting to see when these two teams do play against each other. The Titans, is it growing pains? Is this something that's going to take them a while to get going? Are they not giving Cam Ward enough? Time will tell with this one to see how bad it goes. Speaking of how bad it goes, have you met head coach Mike McDaniel? He looks like he's going to be fired after the Patriots beat the Dolphins 33-27. Back and forth kick returns in this one. Patriots put a lot of points in this one, 60 points in this game, but it was the Patriots edging them out at the end. It did look like back and forth. Tua, 26 for 32, 315 yards for 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had 6 receptions for 109 yards. But as the Patriots, it was just an ugly game. It just was sort of ugly to watch this one back and forth. To go, this is sloppy.
It was weird, yeah, because again, it had a little bit of excitement near the end, but it's just Tua. Again, his stats look great, right? His stats look great, but then you watch some of his passes where he just can't hit the deep ball. The ball just hangs there, and Tyreek's got to stop and waiting for everyone.
Yeah. He missed him wide open.
Frustrated. They don't really have anybody. Their defense is atrocious, and the fact that they got to now have Josh Allen on Thursday in Buffalo. If you're giving up 33 to the Patriots, who barely could get any points against the Raiders last week, who looked completely helpless. I still think the Patriots lack weapons. I think, all the hype about Travion Henderson, he's not really clicky. He's not getting on the field as much as you think. Yeah. None of these rookies this year that we kind of read about in the fantasy world, like Omarion Hampton, all these rookie running back, RJ Harvey, none of them are doing anything. Ashton Genty's doing nothing. It's just really been a tough sled, I think, for the rookies this year. And to me, the Patriots, again, I think the Dolphins, only good thing you can say is that your offense looked better. You got 27 points against a supposedly good Patriots team, but they can get passed on.
Yeah, I mean,
but to me, I don't know if you're giving up 33 to the Patriots, I don't see how Mike McDaniel lasts 3 more games. I think maybe if Buffalo comes out and puts 50 on them on Thursday night, I think that's it. I think they pull the plug maybe as early as this week, depending on how bad they look. So I think McDaniel's playing for his career right now.
Well, especially going into Buffalo to play this game. The weather will be warm on Thursday. It's actually supposed to be about 30 degrees. But yeah, I mean, I think he can even smell the writing on the wall. I'm sure he's on LinkedIn trying to work on his CV, because it just feels like the experiment's over. The high-flying Dolphins are sort of done. They did try to put it together, but it seems like this was their sort of last-ditch effort, because you're not going to be able to put that many on the Bills, and it's going to be really tough for him going forward. Spencer Rattler put on an impressive display, and Mac Jones really put it together. 26 for 39 in a win, 26-21 win. Saints tried to make it close, though, in the end. Spencer tried to get it going. Kamara had 99 yards. Juan Jennings had a touchdown, 89 yards. 49ers go to 2-0, and Mac Jones sort of fitting in okay with that team, even though still injuries on this team. Christian McCaffrey back, but this was an ugly win. I think Stan Fran probably thought they could, beat these guys by a bit more. Saints keep it close enough, but they lose by 5.
I think this is almost in a way for San Francisco's like worst nightmare for fans, watching Mac Jones come in and just throw up 3 touchdowns, and you're like, see, anyone can do it. It's not Purdy. It's not this. We saw years of Nick Mullen throwing 300 yards a game the last couple of years. So to me, this is just shows you, like, if you're like a backup quarterback in the NFL, had a hard time, maybe had a rough rookie, saying you're on a bad team, go to the Niners. You will be resurrected from the dead. That's why everyone goes there. Darnold went there for a bit to learn from Shanahan. He ends up getting paid. To me, I think Mac Jones is a good quarterback for his system. He's smart. Dude is smart. He's accurate. He can kind of get the ball out quick. He doesn't have the mobility that Brock Purdy has, but I mean, I think if he comes out, wins 3 in a row, and Purdy comes in, looks rough, it's an impossible situation because you've already paid Purdy, so you can't go off him. And Mac Jones is just kind of like, I'll do this and get another job. There's a lot of bad quarterbacking in the NFL, so I feel like Mac Jones has a couple more good games. He can get himself a job, maybe on the Saints. But even they're playing better. They're only losing by 5. Spencer Rattler, they're looking competitive, and Spencer Rattler, he's got better numbers than Caleb Williams right now.
Yeah, he does.
If you're looking at the two, so to me, I'm pretty impressed by the Saints and how they haven't really just laid over. And
they're still 0-2, but they're playing a lot better than the Dolphins are. That's for sure. So I mean, there's a lot of competitiveness going on in that team. Let's go into your team next. Buffalo was 20-3 at the half. Looked like it could have been a big blow of a game, but they still win by 20. Buffalo 30. Jets 10 points. Josh Allen 14 for 25 and 48 yards. Cook, though, 132 yards. He was looking great. 2 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson being the shining star for the Jets. 5 receptions, 50 yards. Justin Fields taking an injury in this one. We're not sure how long he's going to be out, but it's going to be a bit, it looks like. Not.
Well, it's a concussion. It's a concussion, so it could be a week, but he was bad. He was bad.
He
threw
not look
27 yards. 27 yards. Mitch Trubisky threw for 32. He only had 1 play, basically.
Yeah.
So that just showed you. It felt over. It just felt like, that you even had the Jets coach doing them no favors. Down 20-0, kicking a meaningless field goal of 1 yard. Another time punting when they're down like 23-3. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, have some faith in your team. I know you weren't doing anything, but you got the home crowd. You got, you played at least a decent game. It's kind of like, as soon as they got punched in the mouth, they just kind of retreated and they didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, James Cook was great. Joey Bosa's looking like he could be one of the signings of the summer. Like, dude has been absolute killing it the last 2 games. He's all over. Plays limited snaps. They don't play him every down. They kind of really rotate him in to kind of keep him fresh, and it's really helping. Dude, he had a sack, 2 forced fumbles. He looks good. The Bills D just kind of had a nice comeback. They had the perfect situation after playing Baltimore. Kind of sit back, have a big game against the Jets, and now they got a nice run for the next. They get past Miami to go like 6-7-0, probably leading up to Kansas City. So if I'm the Jets, I just was never a believer in Fields. I think Tyrod Taylor gives them a better chance to win. Yeah. To be perfectly honest, he's a better quarterback than Justin Fields, and he still can run. I mean, if Tyrod Taylor gets a job this week and he plays well, don't expect Fields to get his job back, I don't think.
No, exactly.
I think it was a 1-year rent.
Yeah, it's 1 year. Let's see how it goes. And to your point, I mean, they look fairly good in the first game against the Steelers, but this game it's like, oh, there's those Jets again. Forgot about you guys. You're back. But the Bills steamed all over him. James Cook looked really good in this game. So it was a solid victory. And as you say, it's like they've got a few good run. You play a Thursday night game, you get some time off for your next one. So, I mean, it's not going to be that hard to prepare for Miami. So it should be good for the Bills. It was not good for the Steelers, who Sam Darnold looked like the Jesus incarnate on the field for a bit there. 22 for 33, 95 yards, touchdowns. It was a running game. Kenneth Walker splitting that. He gets 105 yards and a touchdown. And Jigba Smith gets 103 yards. The Steelers' defense does not look good at all. Aaron Rodgers was flustered by this. The Steelers have no running game. They have no defense. And, the Seahawks' defense was really all over them, shoving them around. 31-17, this one. Bit of a blowout.
Yeah, right. You paid TJ Watt all this money in the offseason. Pretty much been invisible the first 2 games completely. The leader of that defense. They just look Yeah, it was. I think again, the emotions of Rodgers playing the Jets. He wanted to win, have that big game. He kind of saw this one, him falling back to earth. He just again, he looks slow. He just doesn't want to get hit. Again, he's not really. DK Metcalf only had 20 yards. He doesn't really have any real weapons he kind of trusts. Like when Jalen
Hmm.
Warren, he's dumping it off to him. He's got 86 yards receiving, and it's going to be like that all year. It's going to be like Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, and his running backs being the top receivers because as
Yeah.
soon as Rodgers gets any pressure, he just chucks it away, dump it off to the running back. So, I mean, yeah, I think good win for Seattle. With them, they're just going to be every week. Do you play Charbonnet? Do you play
Yeah.
Walker? Charbonnet, Walker. So if you had Charbonnet, you played him this week, you got screwed. And next week, he'll probably get you 2 touchdowns, and you're going to play Walker. So good luck trying to figure that out. I have Charbonnet, and he just stays on my bench because I can't be
Yeah.
bothered
You can't justify it.
with even trying to figure out this puzzle. Good win for the Seahawks. They needed it. They couldn't fall to 0-2. And Pittsburgh, man, I don't know what they're going to do about this defense. And when they start playing Baltimore and the kind of the big
Yeah.
offenses, at least they don't have to play Joe Burrow twice.
Yeah.
At least give them that.
Yeah, no, it was a bit. They're going to have to retool. I mean, you wonder, okay, it's a bit early, but is it? There's still a lot of stuff to work there, and that defense is not looking good, and his offensive line isn't helping him out very much. We know what a quick release quarterback Aaron Rodgers is, but you got to get rid of it even quicker now because you don't have a lot of protection. It was angry football in Baltimore as Joe Flacco returned to Baltimore to get his ass whooped, 41-17, as Lamar Jackson looked good. Only 225 yards, 4 touchdowns. The defense was all over them, scooping up balls, 41-17. This is Baltimore atoning for week 1 after losing to the Bills, but putting up some big numbers, and the Browns just looked horrible.
Yeah, man, it's time to stop this this Flacco experiment. I don't get it. I get it. Maybe you just want to kind of, maybe some tough games you want to get Gabriel going, but to me, this is just pointless. They can't score 20 points. They haven't scored 20 points in like the last 6 games. And I'm sorry, but if you want Joe Flacco throwing it 50 times a game for 199 yards, it's like, I'm sorry, like the Ravens. Josh Allen threw for almost 400 on them. Especially when you're down that much, you still can't get any yards. I mean, just play Gabriel. Like, what are you doing? If you're Cleveland, if you're a Browns fan, you're 0-2. Do you really want to go watch Joe Flacco play football? I'd rather spend my money elsewhere if I was them. So I hope by at least the time they get to London that we are not going to be subjected to Joe Flacco, because I think Gabriel at least looked decent. At least gives your crowd, the crowd, your fans, something to believe in. I'm sorry, but the Joe Flacco miracle season was like 2 years ago, and he's like 42 now. I think this is going to work. This is crazy pill time. Unless they want to just tank and just get the first pick overall. But then why did you spend a 3rd-round pick on a quarterback and a 5th-round pick?
You almost want to mix up the quarterbacks a bit, like we got a few quarterbacks. Let's mix it up. Let's give defenses different looks. Let's get all the guys up to speed so you can put him in. Put in Shadur. Bring in Flacco when you need it. So it messes it up, and they're just like, okay, what are we doing here? Because you've got quarterback by committee, you might as well play with it.
Yeah.
Talking of quarterbacks, the Giants looking at old Daniel Jones, going, oh, if only we had him. This is a game I called. I said the Colts would beat the Broncos, and they did. They did. They won 29-28 in a stunner. 6 points in the 4th quarter, put it all away. Broncos were looking good. It was a close game at the half, but Daniel Jones, 24 for 34, 316 yards, 1 touchdown. And Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries, 165 yards. He's back as well. The running game was finding some holes. That much talked about Broncos defense was struggling against this Colts team. Colts 2-0, looking AFC. South could be theirs the way they're playing.
Yeah.
This was a good game for them, and they're playing tight. The defense was looking good. The offensive line was looking good. He's, Flacco's got some step into him, and this team is solid. You're kind of rooting for him.
Yeah, honestly, I can see the Colts winning the division with 6-10 at this point, 6-11. It's that bad. Like, and Indiana Jones, which is the greatest nickname ever for him now, Indiana Jones. Danny Dimes to Indiana Jones, coming out playing great. Look, they're throwing it all around the field. Jonathan Taylor. The fact is, these guys are good. They're a good team. Yeah. They got Tyler Warren. The Bears should have taken instead of their tight end. Tyler Warren, again, 4 for 79. This guy's kind of like Brock Bowers out of the gun. Daniel Jones, 300 yards. The defense is playing well. The fact that, again, this is Denver's vaunted tough defense, and they were able to kind of just run all over them. And then for Denver to make a stupid mistake right at the end after they miss, which is ironic, which is exactly what happened in Buffalo a year ago with 12 men on the field, and they got 2 chances to kick a field goal. Now it bites them back with a penalty at the end of the game for leverage, giving the Colts pretty much the game. A fun game, and I'm cheering for the Colts. I think the Colts are a fun story. I think we're always going to have. That's why it's just so hard to determine when you give up on a quarterback. You know, you're seeing it with Baker, you're seeing it with Darnold, you're seeing it with Daniel Jones. And who's the next guy? I think if you're Mac Jones now, like if you're a quarterback who kind of flamed out, you got to kind of feel like there's hope. Like I just haven't found your true love, like Daniel Jones seems to have found. And I mean, like maybe now is the time. Maybe trade for Anthony Richardson, get him off him, because I think if Jones keeps playing like this, I don't see any reason why he won't be the starter going forward.
And Josh Rosen is like, so you guys, so there's a chance again? So I can come back?
Can I sell you some life insurance?
Let's talk life insurance. Talking about the Arizona Cardinals, who were up 20-3 at the start of the half. 19 points in the second half by the Panthers. Young, 35 for 55, 3 touchdowns, 328 yards. You know, his McMillan guy, 6 receptions, 100 yards. I mean, he was sort of looking okay. But the Panthers were not going to go down easily, and the Cardinals struggled on their defense in that second half, allowing the Panthers to find some holes in this one. They lose 27-22. Cardinals go but, you know, you almost lost to the Panthers near the end.
Yeah, again, I feel the same way about the Cardinals as I do about the Jags. Like, I just can't. I don't see what you do well. Like, Kyler Murray, fine. You get 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. It's a terrible interception at the end in the fourth quarter to kind of let them kind of sneak back in. You don't use Marvin Harrison Jr., this elite receiver you drafted 4th overall. He's pretty much invisible. 2 catches, 27 yards. James Conner just feels old. Like, it feels like we've been watching James Conner for years, and now we're kind of seeing him kind of fall apart. And I don't, sure, you got Bryce Young's over 330 yards on you, or 350 yards. To me, I just think the Cardinals, even though they're 2-0, I think they might sneak into the playoffs, maybe grab that last spot, but I'm not buying it. I think they've beaten the Saints and the Panthers weeks 1 and 2, and they barely beat both of them. I think they had a chance to lose both of them. So to me, I think the Cardinals, as soon as they play a real team, they're going to get smacked in the face if they don't figure out a way to kind of get this offense moving and get your playmakers more involved. Because you can't just throw to Trey McBride all the time, and it's just not going to work come playoff time.
And you can't beat up on the easy teams and just think it's going to be the way, because as you said, it's going to be, they're 2-0 now.
They don't even beat up.
When
they
you go
just
to 2-10,
beat the easy teams.
Yeah. Just barely. Let's go to the Super Bowl rematch. It was one of our later games. Eagles versus Chiefs. I think a lot of people thought, hey, the Chiefs have got to put this one together, and maybe the Eagles won't be paying attention. They were. 20-17. Defensive-minded game. Saquon only had 88 yards. Kelsey had 4 receptions, 61. Holmes, 16 for 29, 187. He looked flustered out there. Travis Kelce looked angered. The tush push, you know, a lot of people were not happy about the tush push happening in this one. But the Eagles get the win, go to 2-0, and the Chiefs 0-2. What is going on in Kansas City? 20-17. They could barely score any points.
Yeah, the thing is, weirdly, I'm not even remotely concerned about the Chiefs, to be honest with you. I think they could have won this game. I think Travis Kelce's honestly been the biggest liability on this team all year. He injured Xavier Worthy week 1, had a big drop in week 1 that could have got a touchdown. Drop this week that goes into an interception that almost got returned for a pick. He's not helping the team at all. You know, it's great that he gets the Swifties in and they made some money, but it feels like this is not working. I think they're really desperate for weapons. I think the fact that Mahomes is on pace to run for 1,000 yards is a massive indictment on your team. I feel like just bet the Mahomes over rushing in prop bets every week, because he's running out there for his life most of the time. And I thought he played decent considering who he's got out there. So I think the Chiefs are going to be completely fine. I think the fact that they're 0-2, I thought their defense played much better. And the fact that, you know, they kept, you know, Saquon in check. Hurts didn't even have 100 yards with those receivers. It was a boring game. But to me, I think, if anyone, I'd be more concerned if I was the Eagles than the Chiefs. Chiefs have no weapons. Rashee Rice will be back. Xavier Worthy will be back. But they have no running game. The Pacheco experiment, I think, is done. I think we've seen it. And they either got to make a move for a running back at the trade deadline, because you cannot think you're going to win in December with Pacheco and Kareem Hunt as your running back. So I could see Kansas City making a move for a running back at some point in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, you could. You know, there's a lot of pieces that still need to be put together. The coaching is there, and to your point, they are 0-2. But, if you're at 0-4, I would worry. I think they'll start winning the next few games. I'm not sure they have.
No, they have the Giants next week, so.
Well, that should be an easy win right there. But, let's see if Russ will be cooking in that one. But, again, the Eagles still looking dominant, still looking good. They got the win that they needed to, only win by enough to win, right? So if only J.J. McCarthy could play the Bears every week. He looked horrible in this game. The Falcons, 22-6 in this one. Bijan has 143 yards, although Justin Jefferson, he had 3 receptions for 81. McCarthy, 11 for 21, 2 interceptions, 158 yards. He looked lost. He had so much of that eye black on, it looked almost like a racial crime. I thought he was going to go full blackface at this point. It was just looked bad. But, the Falcons get this win. They look pretty good in this one. Penix was better. The defense was really coming up in this one. I think one of the 20 points for that defense. But the Falcons get the win they needed and put away the Vikings that everyone thought would, maybe walk away with this one.
It's funny because J.J. McCarthy now has an ankle injury, so he's out the next 2 weeks. And part of me is like, is this like a real ankle injury, or is this like Kevin O'Connell just Nancy Kerrigan'd him right when he came into the locker room?
You're done.
Because I feel like they're like, listen, if we bench him now, we're going to kill his confidence, right? And he won't be able to play. But if we injure him and we say he's hurt, he could sit for a couple of weeks, save face, not have that embarrassment. And now you got Carson Wentz, another guy trying to maybe he could come and do a reclamation project, going in with a good coordinator. Maybe this is the Carson Wentz turnaround story. He saw what he did with Darnold. Carson Wentz, back in his day, maybe he's learned a lesson of having all his teammates hate him for years and years and years, that he might actually turn into a good teammate and play well. So it's funny. It's going to be Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz on, I think, next week football game. So he's bad. JJ is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you really expected, but again, against the Falcons, you got to do better than 6 points. I'm sorry. He had that great fourth quarter, but it looked like he looked just absolutely helpless.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for even watching the highlights. It's just like, Justin Jefferson's like, what are we doing out here? They don't have a great running game, and the defense can only help them so much. But man, I'm interested if Wentz plays well, I don't see them going back to JJ McCarthy. There's no way they will.
You've got Kirk Cousins sitting on that bench there too, and you're looking. Everyone's like, "Remember when Kirk used to throw for 500 yards?"
Yeah, we should. Can we have him back? Just run over
can we
to
just?
the other side?
Hey, throw him a jersey? Can you just maybe jump in for a little bit there, Kirk? Not wanted by one team, wanted by another. So it was an interesting one there for them. Good for the Falcons, looking good in this. We had it on Monday night. Where the Texans are struggling. Their defense looked ferocious for a bit, but they weren't able to put away Baker Mayfield. It was great. He wasn't great, but 25 for 38, 215 yards. He gets the 2 touchdowns. Bucky Irving was used well. Mike Evans had 5 receptions. The Texans, though, C.J. Stroud, the offensive line wasn't there. So many things. I mean, they get 10 points in the first, 9 points in the fourth, but that's all. The Texans do not look good at all.
No, they look bad. It's their offensive line. You traded away your best offensive lineman. They absolutely every third down. You were just watching it was like 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5. The Bucs just brought everyone. They sacked them almost every single time. It felt like the Texans have. Nick Chubb looks quite good. This is the only kind of good thing about their team. Again, Nico Collins had a good first drive. Looked like he was back, and then nothing the rest of the game, pretty much. I'm sorry, but C.J. Stroud to me just looks like a guy who got that crazy rookie year. His ego just went so big. Like he thought he was like the greatest quarterback in the history. He's been terrible, absolutely terrible. And again, I don't really blame him. His receivers are terrible. Look, after Nico Collins, you got Jaquavius Marks, Xavier Hutchinson, Jaden Higgins, Justin Watson. They've done nothing to help him. Tank Dell gets back, but Tank Dell's like my size. He's going to get hurt again. They need to get C.J. Stroud a weapon because right now, and an offensive line, and they need to put all the money into that because he's not going to get a contract extension. I wouldn't pay him this year if I were usually if you're a great quarterback after 3 years, you can get that contract extension. But if I'm them, there's no way I'm paying him. He's got to pick it up, man, because he's got a Super Bowl defense and he's playing literally some of the worst football of his career right now.
And the Bucs, they themselves have some offensive line issues as well. There were some times you're like, oh, geez, poor Baker, because that Texans, well, good front D were coming at him and scaring him quite a bit. But it was, Baker's heroics right near the end. He's the guy that rallies. He's the guy that wins you the game, and he does it. Comes from behind, and they're 2-0. And so that makes it easy. The Texans were considered to be a bit of a tough team. Texans were favored in this one, but the Bucs come out and win it. We head to the final game, because, everyone wants a game at 10 o'clock at night Eastern time or 3 in the morning in the UK. But it was Chargers versus Raiders, AFC West battle. Justin Herbert looking good, 242 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ashton Genty was shut down, and it was Geno Smith who was getting flummoxed by that, 3 picks. The Chargers defense all over him, 20-9. It was 17-6 at the first. They both only scored 3 points in the second half. It was really a lackluster second half, which is probably why everyone went to bed, including the players. But Chargers 2-0, they're looking good.
Yeah. I mean, Geno is terrible. This is a Raiders team with not a lot of weapons. Brock Bowers is a bit injured, so he wasn't able to be as dynamic. But to me, the biggest story is Genty. He just can't. Yeah. He looks slow. He just this guy was supposed to be like Barry Sanders coming out, but he looks like just wants to hit people, and he doesn't look elusive or fast. Like his longest run's 9 yards. I don't see it. I guess I don't know what. I saw the college highlight tapes, and it was just when you're playing pottery. So when you play a pottery school, and you get 300 yards rushing, I'm not that impressed.
East Reno State or something like that.
Yeah, even the Chargers, they only got 20 points. This wasn't a dominant Chargers performance.
No. Well, the Raiders defense was there. Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think Amore Hampton's really struggled. The Chargers running game really was a strong suit of them last year. They can't really get it going, it feels like, no matter what. They got stuffed on a 4th down. The Raiders, to me, it's just maybe Tommy's got to get in Geno's ear and give him some lessons or something. But to me, this is just a team of lacks weapons against just a more dominant season team. And Herbert still just plays a lot of mistake-free football. So if he plays smart football and do that, you're not really going to lose much.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't a happy birthday. Happy 74th to Pete Carroll. Not the birthday gift that he wanted. That was it for the week 2 games. We're going to jump into our week 3 Thursday night pick. Ryan and I will look at this. And, of course, it's a battle of the AFC East. Miami, 0-2, heading into Buffalo, 2-0. Buffalo, 10.5-point favorites. The over-under in this one is 49.5. Miami is going to have to balls to the wall in this one. But do they have any of the talent to be able to do it? And will Buffalo, just put up a lead and coast on these guys? 10.5 is a lot of points in the NFL, but Buffalo obviously won by 20 this week. Does Miami have a chance, or is Buffalo just going to steamroll over them?
I mean, again, division games kind of be tricky. Miami's always been a team that can kind of stick around. But the problem with this team is this team just looks broken, where the other teams at least had that Mike McDaniel confidence where everyone thought he was a genius and is going to kind of come out. Tyreek, they put up 70 on the Bills. To me, I just think this is a team that's given up. Any other season, I would have picked Miami to cover. I think the fact that it's 10.5 says something. I think Buffalo likes beating up on this team. And I think this Miami defense, Patriots scored 33. I don't see any reason why the Bills don't score that much or more. James Cook looks unstoppable on the ground. To me, I'm going Buffalo 40-27 to win this game. I still think they give up points because Miami will score some late points maybe, but I just think Buffalo, Josh Allen lives to beat Miami. He's beaten them almost every time they've played him. So I don't see that really changing, especially at a night game when Tua plays some of his worst football in the brightest of lights.
Yeah, no, I could see that too. I mean, to your point, 10.5 still feels a lot to me, even though they did win by 20. I think this is Mike McDaniel's sort of, this is it. I'm done if we don't win or we don't score in this one, guys. I've got them to win at 31-23. I think Buffalo gets a big score. Miami has to use some garbage time trying to catch up on this one. I've got New York Jets to cover it just because 10.5 just seems like a lot for a Thursday night football. With the Bills, they get the job done. They rest, relax, go. That's fine. We're going into week 4. So I think that Miami can cover it only for the fact is if the players are playing to help McDaniels keep their job, they will. And they don't want to go. I don't think they will either, but I don't think they want to go 0-3. And, I'm sure there's Tyreek looking like trade me. I could like to go somewhere where, I'm respected. Send me to Pittsburgh. So,
I mean, respected.
Yeah, respected. I don't know. But
not as a human, as a football player.
As a football player, that's all we're talking about. I don't talk about people as humans. Yeah. So that's it, everyone. Thanks a lot for listening to the podcast. Ryan and I'll be back this weekend with, of course, our picks for all of week 3. Thanks a lot for listening, everyone, and get ready. We got football coming up.